Let's jump right into today's explainer. We're stepping into a truly unique medical character study to unlock the fascinating, paradoxical, and honestly unforgettable profile of a remedy known as Capsicum. We're not just looking at a dry list of symptoms here, we're looking at a dramatic story of the mind and body. So let's dive right in. First, I want you to listen to this bizarre physiological rule. Every stool is followed by thirst, and every drink is followed by shuddering. Let that sink in for a second. It's a completely paradoxical, almost impossible sounding rule, right? But this strange contradiction perfectly sets the stage for the highly specific, deeply theatrical set of symptoms we're about to explore. All right, Section 1. Meet the man called Capsicum. To really grasp this profile, we've got to view him as a living, breathing protagonist. So who is he? Well, Capsicum is stout, fat, and notably lazy. Generally, he's a jovial guy, but watch out. He gets surprisingly angry if he's annoyed over even the smallest little things. He absolutely hates exercise and has a deep, deep hatred for cold air, much preferring to stay cooped up indoors. You'll usually find him constantly sleepy, sporting these bright red cheeks. Try to create a mental picture of this red-cheeked, sleepy, chilly man, because that visual is your cognitive anchor for everything that comes next. Now, here's the inciting incident of his story. During a winter exile where he was sent far away, he suffered terribly from homesickness. Picture him sitting alone by the fire every evening, tears in his eyes, simply longing for home. This intense homesickness isn't just a passing mood for him. It defines his entire emotional baseline. He just wants to be left alone, so he can go back home. And as we're going to see, this deep emotional longing is directly tied to the physical suffering that attacks him next.
Moving on to Section 2, the Pepper Rebellion.
The name Capsicum literally relates to peppers, and man, his body acts exactly like it's under attack by them. Step 1 of this rebellion, his throat burns as if someone actively rubbed cayenne pepper directly into it. It gets dark red, swollen, and painfully constricted. Step 2, the rebellion spreads deep behind the ears to the mastoid bone. Here, he feels intense burning and stinging pains, almost like an abscess is forming. And step 3, every single time he coughs, these sharp aches shoot directly into his ears, leaving him terrified that the swelling is actually going to burst. But here is where it gets really strange. Look at the paradox happening in his throat. The burning pain actually gets worse between acts of swallowing, yet it's thankfully soothed by warm drinks. But on the flip side, cold water completely aggravates everything, making that pepper-like burning significantly worse. It's totally counterintuitive. And this systemic pepper theme, it is relentless. He develops a violent headache where his head feels so incredibly large that the brain feels ready to be pressed right out of his forehead with every step or cough. His only relief tactic is to lie down, elevate his head, and hold it tightly in his hands. On top of that, his stomach suffers from terrible dyspepsia. We're talking flatulence, nausea, and a horrible sinking feeling at the pit of his stomach. And then there are the stinging piles, or hemorrhoids. They burn and sting fiercely, literally as if they've had pepper sprinkled all over them. The burning is everywhere. Which brings us to Section 3, Strange Rules of the Body. This brilliantly illustrates his unbending physical laws. When dysentery strikes, it brings mucus, blood, and stinging pains. But the absolute rule is this. After every single stool, he experiences intense thirst. But, and here's the catch, after every single drink he takes to quench that thirst, he experiences violent shuddering. Drink to quench the thirst, and boom, the body violently shudders. It is a closed loop of absolute misery. Then the winter winds bring a dry, explosive cough. With every cough, a puff of foul, pungent air escapes his mouth. But look at what else happens when he coughs. Distant pain shoots all the way down into the bladder. Distant pain shoots right into the knees and the legs. Distant pain echoes back up into the ears. It's totally absurd, but a single cough triggers sympathetic pain in remote, completely distant parts of his body. The chronological progression of his fever is just as highly specific. Step 1. That intense thirst begins before the chill even starts. Step 2, when the chill finally hits, it always begins right in the back. Step 3, just like the rule we learned earlier, drinking violently increases his shivering. And step 4, during all of this, he demands heavy blankets, he craves heat, and absolutely hates even the slightest draft of cold air. This extreme chilliness is a massive hallmark of his condition. Let's move to Section 4, the Master Mnemonic. I want to give you the ultimate cheat sheet to decode this story so you never forget it. Let's punch through the letters of his name. Capsicum. C is for chilly patient, hates open air and drafts. A is for after stool comes thirst and after drink comes shuddering. P is for pepper-like burning and smarting pains everywhere. S is for sore dark red throat, perfect for a smoker's or drinker's tonsillitis. I stands for intense homesickness with red cheeks and sleepiness. C is for constriction of the throat, chest, bladder, urethra, and rectum. U is for unsteady mood, he's peevish, obstinate, and just wants to be left alone. And M is for mastoid inflammation, abscess, and burning ear pains. Take a mental snapshot of this. It's exactly what you need.
Section 5. Essential Exam Pearls.
We've got the story, we've got the mnemonic, now let's crystallize exactly why this matters. If you need to sum up this character in one definitive keynote definition, it is this: pepper burning, plus homesickness, plus thirst after stool, shivering after drinking. That specific trio of concepts is the absolute, undeniable core of the Capsicum profile. And to neatly wrap up our tragic comic protagonist here, let's read this quick memory line. Capsicum is the homesick, red-cheeked, chilly fat man whose throat, ears, and piles burn like pepper. Every stool makes him thirsty, and every drink makes him shiver. If you keep that sentence in your back pocket, you've mastered this profile. If this methodology sounds like the solution to your study struggles, remember to subscribe to their channel for more easy stories and memory tricks. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now go out there and start mastering the material one story at a time.